massive epidemic of fatherlessness, and I think we have the misconception that to be fatherless you have to live in a separate home from your father. But I think there are a lot of fathers who live in the same home as their kids, but they're perpetuating the cycle that came from their fathers.
I always felt he wasn't as big and as strong as him and as capable, and I'm always afraid of passing those things on to Luca.
Men have two kind of defaults. One is to be detached and passive and not involved, or the other one is to be too domineering and too aggressive and over-involved. And we have a real lack of good role models in community, and we have fathers that are just very consumed with paying the bills, earning a living, and dealing with their own masculine issues as opposed to passing on to their sons.
One of the greatest needs every human being has is a sense of identity or belonging, just to know who they are. And am I good enough? Am I going to cut it? Am I worth anything?
You know, the process of moving from boyhood to manhood is something that for centuries past has been done by older men imparting masculinity to younger men. It's critical as men in today's society and community that we help our young boys become true men. I often talk about the parallel journey as men, that we need to be and become men as we raise our boys to become men. We do a briefing session with the men, the fathers or the mentors of these young boys on the night before we go away, just to talk about issues of masculinity and fatherhood and maleness. For me, it started with my own son, Luke, who's now 21. When he was 13, I took Luke away on a rites of passage with about 10 different men. And what struck me so much on that particular weekend was the impact it had on the men who were doing it with me. All of the guys came to me and said, "Craig, I just realized how much I have lacked in my life growing up, not having had this impartation of older men imparting to younger men about what it means to be a man." A process like this brings boys into touch with reality. It's bush, it's wilderness, it's real. There's challenges which they have to face, there's tasks they have to perform, and we start teaching them what it means to be a man, what it means to take responsibility, what it means to use their strength in a way to serve others, what it means to find identity, who they are, and to begin to develop a vision for their lives and for the future. So it's a very powerful, real, tangible process.
Well, I'm almost at the age of becoming a teenager.
I feel excited to learn about becoming a man.
We really have three themes: the masculinity, what it means to move from being a boy to being a grown-up man; the identity, what am I to this world and what is my destiny; and then we talk about sexuality. They're being exposed to media images of sexuality. A lot of them have been exposed to pornography. We have some challenging exercises, overcoming some fears, dealing with some real issues, and having some really heart-to-heart discussions. And we end off the weekend with them making a declaration of who they are and who they'd like to be, and us as older men imparting to them the fact that they are enough.
I want to do good to this world by preventing bullying.
You've got what it takes to be a man. Will you never forget that?
Yes.
Something I've learned was that you have to be mentally strong to also do challenges. The things I've learned is to not be afraid of who I am.
What changed me is that people often bully me, and now I know to stand up for myself and not let that happen. A man is confident and brave, stands up for people for the right thing, and they're protectors of their families and their friends and their animals. And they take charge of their responsibilities also. I think this is a very important camp to go on because it teaches you a lot about the real world. I think Craig and Ron are really nice people, and they are fun and adventurous and really caring.
The weekend was awesome. Every single minute there was always a challenge. Some of the life lessons I've learned is to be yourself no matter what. I am who I am, and that's all I can be. A real man is responsible. They have to care a lot about other people and in their surroundings. It really has done something to my confidence, because when I was on that cliff, I thought, no, I can't do this. But when you're in the river, you think that's tiny. I've learned some lessons that I haven't learned or even heard of before. I felt that Craig and Ron were really good mentors, and I would rate them an 11 out of 10 because they're so good.
I really enjoyed the weekend because I think it was really fun. I learned self-awareness. There's so much junk out there, and you must know how to separate the junk from the real stuff.
What we need to see is more and more men helping young boys, particularly 12, 13-year-olds, make that transition.
And to create a network of men that are able to speak to each other, mentor each other, and build up a network of dads and boys building true and real men and masculinity in our community.